There are very real doctors right now in the world, probably hundreds, maybe thousands of them in different countries around the world, who are cutting up areolas to look more that are already detached from their human.
Yes.
I mean, this is a brave new world.
It's a nihilistic, evil, anti-human society that we've got going on right now. And there's a lot of, I call them ignorant, well-intentioned liberals. And they support this, and they're therapists, and they're social workers, and they're teachers, and they're parents, and they are taught from, their HR board. They are taught from, the World Health Organization. They are taught from these LGBT activist organizations and human rights organizations that write these guidances. It's only a small number of truly deranged or evil people that are writing everything. And then it gets trickled down through all these institutions. And then there's a profit incentive for sociopathic surgeons to profit off that.
Gosh. I think, almost every atrocity is well-intentioned. I've started to think that more and more, that,
yes.
Okay, we call them well-intentioned liberals, and I think you're absolutely right.
Ignorant, well-intentioned liberals.
Ignorant as well, but that's I think, that was the Nazis. They had the same kind of pseudoscience. It was pseudoscience with eugenics. They went for it, mass delusion, and they all thought they were doing the right thing. And they were ignorant, and they were, I think, well-intentioned, but they did the worst things ever.
I mean, was Mengele well-intentioned?
Well, I think individuals are not necessarily always well-intentioned. I think you get 1% of society are psychopaths, but I think it's possible he was well-intentioned. In his mind, it's possible he thought, I'm doing good for mankind by experimenting and finding out more about the humanity, and I'm doing experiments on this subhuman species, which is what he considered the Jews. So I'm sure that was well-intentioned. I think that's a great example of quite how horrific we can be when we're well-intentioned. I think
we compartmentalize our fixation on, I view it as transcending nature, transcending mortality. Mengele, perhaps, I'm not an expert on Mengele, but Mengele perhaps wanted to extend human life, right? He wanted to, these doctors, they want to cure diseases. They want to, not only for ego reasons, make a name for themselves and all that, but they do want to they want to progress.
Yeah.
So to be progressive is not always a good thing. If you're progressing further away from what sustains a healthy life in the futile effort to avoid death, then that's not a way to live. It's not a way to conduct medicine when the premise is first do no harm.
Yes. What did they do with your areolas?
It's a good question. I paid out of pocket to have the areolas sculpted with no nerve function, reattached.
How much did that cost? More or less.
I don't know. The entire thing cost about $10,000.
And insurance covered some of it?
Most of it.
Okay.
And I crowdfunded some, and my parents helped with some, I helped with some, and some of my liberal, ignorant, well-intentioned aunts helped with some. But so I don't remember the exact distinction of the areola cost, but the whole entire procedure was about $10,000, which is typical.
Is that with the nipples?
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
And there's no feeling there.
No, I mean, they don't look like normal nipples. They don't function. There's no connectivity. Because when a woman, has breast cancer, it's not the same procedure. A lot of people think that it's the same procedure to have a mastectomy for a trans surgery or a mastectomy, but it's not the same.
Is it mastectomy?
Mastectomy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always get confused
with a T. Mastectomy.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not, because when they have a woman, they do everything they can to preserve her nerve function, to preserve the milk ducts, to preserve maybe one of the breasts, to have not only aesthetics, but also to preserve functionality. And it's a big decision that a woman goes through when she has breast cancer, to remove this unhealthy part of her body that had a function. My breasts had a function. The nipples had a function. They were supposed to be the way they were, and they were great, and they were fine. And with the trans surgery, there is no attempt to preserve functionality, because why would you need milk ducts? You're not a woman. You don't need to breastfeed. You don't need to have, sensation. And in terms of aesthetics, I have scars about this thick that run from here to here.
As for those listening, because some just audio is from the center of your chest out to the sides beneath sort of armpit area.
Yeah, they're very long, very thick, about an inch thick.
Huh.
Or maybe not an inch. I don't know. I'm not good with the spatial relations.
That looks an inch.
Whatever this, yes,
Yeah.
an inch. We'll call it an inch. Yeah, but my breasts were thrown in the trash. That's something I think about. Because I've since watched procedures of this being done in videos, and it's a large mass of tissue, your breasts, and it's just meat, a hunk of meat that is thrown in the medical wastebasket.